Hey guys, another quick video showing some of the progress that I've made in Fabric Engine. This time we're going to look at the animation review tool that I'm working on. Also note that I've added this to the forums, so you can go to forums.fabric-engine.com and go to the Fabric developer projects, and there you'll see that there's a develop project called Alembic based online animation review, and in here you'll find all the source code and all the design decisions that have been made. It's basically like a walkthrough of how I made this. So please give me some feedback on the forum. Just sign up and let me know if this all makes sense. So let's have a look at the actual tool. What we're looking at here is a painting application. It's still work in progress. There's right now no I/O. I'm working on that next. Is able to load Alembic files that contain cameras and animation, so that way you can get your character animation into the engine and look at it. And if we click on the free camera, you can see that we have our character here. We've got the camera as well, and if I use the keyboard I can scrub through and you can see how I can look at the full animation. I have several controls. I can use the play button, I can use the slider, I can use the keyboard to play, stop, rewind. So I really have good control over stepping. We could be adding more buttons and more controls. For now, it's good to basically apply back, look at the animation in real time. This is the animation seen from the animation camera, which is following the frog during the jump. So you can see how we can review the animation, and now what we can start doing is painting on top of that to tell the animator that we didn't like certain things. So here, for example, we could say that we like the eye, but we like it to be closed. So for example, we could just go in and press P to open up our painting plane, and just go ahead and paint in here a small correction. Like say we want this lid to be closed. We have controls over the size of our brush, so we can get smaller or bigger brushes. We have control over opacity, which is actually the upper slider, and the radius, like I said, so we can also do really fine lines or we can do really thick lines. We can choose the color, so we can just go ahead and choose coloring. We can do stuff like this as well. I know I'm not a painter, I know it's a disaster, but who cares. So what happens here, basically, it creates a plane that is projected onto the mesh through the camera that we have been choosing, and that has a blend time. So that way, when we go through time now, you can see how it blends off. We can define how long it should blend, so pulling the slider to the right will enable to blend longer. So we'll stay there longer and just slowly fade off. Or we can have it blend really quickly, so it's only in the frame given where we painted it, and it fades off really fast. This allows us to work in the kind of flipbook fashion. So we could go ahead here and now paint the next shape. So we could just say it should be further here. If we go over here, we can draw the next one. So I want to have a more of a stretch leg. Again, I'm not an animator, so you can see how I'm not doing this in a good fashion. You can see how now we're getting the animated sprites, and for each sprite we can say how long we want to see it. And the final tool there is going to be fixed sprites that you can use for environment painting, and there's going to be sprites that follow the cameras. That way we can just do a review. What's nice here now is that you can use several cameras, and you can paint from several cameras in 3D. You can have projections. You can control where the plane will be, so if it will be attached closer to the character or further away, and so on. So it's a tool for basically creating painted animation, but not on a QuickTime, in actual 3D, that will allow us to project it onto the mesh using texture mapping and all sorts of cool things. We'll also be able to export all the images, and something like a table of contents file, like an XML file that describes the transforms of every plane, that describes where they have been created, which will then allow us to, for example, import this stuff into Maya and to be able to give it to the animator directly as animated sequences. With I/O, we'll also be able to open up painted reviews and to give this to well, to, for example, if a director reviews animation, the animator could open it again and have a look at it. It could also be hosted on a web server, so that means that you could review the animation and work on the animation anywhere you are, like wherever you are, just through the browser. So we're just trying to show how you could use Fabric Engine inside of an animation pipeline. I hope this all makes sense. Remember to go to the forum. Again, it's at forums.fabricengine.com, and make sure to visit developer projects and give me some feedback on the system. Thanks for your attention.